Welcome back to SkyPig Gaming, and
I completely forgot that we were going to do this. Oh well.
anyway,
So smart.
I was wondering why you didn't do it with me, but
I wasn't ready.
if my setup looks a little different, it's because it is, though, because, yeah, I'm in a different room.
No, she wasn't ready.
You want to continue on? Or do you want to restart?
Let's just keep going. Let's keep going.
Okay. What's going on?
Just picked off some skin off my phone now. It's like really, really stinging.
Ow.
Wait,
Anyways,
did you say Creepypasta last episode?
we were doing a lost episode today. We haven't even said what we were doing yet. Anyways, today we were doing a lost episode, and that lost episode is Squidward's suicide.
They're very popular, very well known. Yes, yes. There's plenty of them.
Yep. And if you hear any outside noise, it's because I'm doing this close to a window, and yeah, there's a lot of noise. I'm used to doing it in my room where I actually have a chair. In here, I don't even have a chair. I'm literally just sitting on my legs.
You're saying like you're on a mattress or something.
Now I have to come over to a white container just to record.
That does not look comfortable.
It's not. But anyways, today we're doing Squidward's suicide. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started.
Oh God, please don't let this guy have an accident. Alright, let me know when you're ready.
Ready when you are.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. I can't stand like the kind of lost episodes of Creepypastas are like what?
And down on pause.
Mine just doesn't load. Let me just refresh this real fast. Sorry guys, I mean, we're just not getting back in business, so we're kind of like...
We're kind of off.
Yeah.
I would say we could do gaming videos, but I can't because my actual equipment isn't there for recording game videos.
Power's out, so he can't do much.
Yeah, so if this video comes out late Monday, nah, that's one reason why. That's why. Because it is the Thanksgiving
holiday, all that, power out, stupid electrician guy not coming, his head off. Anyways, try it again. 3, 2, 1. For real this time. I would take your intro more seriously, but your name is Pasta Master. Oh my God, I get so sick
I
and
just
tired
want
of
to
music
start
after a
off
while.
by saying, if you want an answer at the end, prepare to be disappointed. There just isn't
This
one.
is so familiar.
I was an intern at Nickelodeon Studios for a year in 2005 for my degree in animation.
No.
It wasn't paid, of course. Most internships aren't. But it did have some perks beyond education. To adults, it might not seem like a big one, but most kids at the time would go crazy over it. Now, since I worked directly with the editors and animators, I got to view the new episodes days before they aired.
Oh no.
I'll get right to it without giving too many unnecessary details. They'd very recently made the SpongeBob movie, and the entire staff was somewhat sapped of creativity, so it took them longer to start up the new season. But the delay lasted longer for more upsetting reasons.
Oh no.
There was a problem with the Series 4 premiere that set everyone and everything back for several months. Me and 2 other interns were in the editing room along with the lead animators and sound editors for the final cut. We received the copy that was supposed to be Fear of a Krabby Patty and gathered around the screen to watch. Now, given that it isn't final yet, animators often put up a mock title card, sort of an inside joke for us, with phony, oftentimes lewd titles, such as How Sex Doesn't Work, instead of Rockabye Bye-Val,
Well then.
when SpongeBob and Patrick adopt a sea scallop. Nothing particularly funny,
Oh
but
my-
work-related chuckles. So when we saw the title card, Squidward's
That's not
suicide,
very funny.
we didn't think more of it
That's
than
face
just a
worthy.
morbid joke, really.
I
One of the
know.
interns did a small
A
throat
morbid
laugh at
joke.
it. The happy-go-lucky music played as is normal. The story began with Squidward practicing his clarinet, hitting a few sour notes like normal. We hear SpongeBob laughing outside,
Like
and
normal.
Squidward stops, yelling at him to keep it down, as he has a concert that night and needs to practice.
I remember this.
SpongeBob says okay, and goes to see Sandy
Dude, the
with
animation
Patrick.
is so different.
The bubble
I
splash
know.
screen comes up, and
Oh.
we see the ending of Squidward's concert. This is when things begin to seem off. While playing, a few frames repeat themselves, but the sound doesn't. At this point, sound is synced up with animation, so yes, that's not common. But when he stops playing, the sound finishes as if the skip never happened. There is slight murmuring in the crowd before they begin to boo him. Not normal cartoon booing that is common in the show, but you could very clearly hear the malice in it. Squidward's in full frame
What?
and looks very afraid.
I don't know.
The shot goes to the crowd with SpongeBob in center frame, and he too is booing, very much unlike him. That isn't the oddest thing, however.
Read this guy.
What is odd is everyone has realistic eyes, very detailed. Clearly not shots of real people's
Realistic.
eyes, but something a
Dude,
bit
it's
more
called
real than CGI.
hyper-realistic.
The pupils were
Maybe.
red. Some of us looked at each other, obviously confused. But since we weren't the writers, we didn't question its appeal to children yet. The shot goes to
that's right,
Squidward
yeah,
sitting on
just-
the edge of his bed, looking very forlorn.
Whatever you are.
The view out of his
Yeah, he's just an
porthole
intern.
window is a night sky,
right.
so it isn't very long after the concert. The unsettling part is at this point
Oh.
there's no sound. Literally no sound, not even feedback from the speakers in the room.
Nothing.
It's as if the speakers were turned off, though their status showed them working perfectly. He just sat there, blinking, in this silence for
This
about
went on for like
30
10
seconds.
minutes.
Then he started to sob softly. He put his hands or tentacles over his eyes and cried quietly for a full minute. All
Yeah,
the
it's
while,
like-
a
it's
sound
like
in the
trying to figure out who
background,
is in
very
hands.
slowly growing from nothing to barely audible. It sounded like a slight breeze through a forest. The screen slowly begins to zoom in on his face. By slow, I mean it's only noticeable if you look at shots 10 seconds apart side by side. His sobbing gets louder, more full of hurt and anger. The screen then twitches a bit, as if it twists in on itself for a split second, then back to normal. The wind through the trees sound gets slowly louder and more severe, as if a storm is brewing somewhere.
There's another sound effect though.
The eerie part is this sound, and Squidward's sobbing sounded real. As if the sound wasn't coming from the speakers, but as if the speakers were holes the sound was coming through from the other side. As good a sound as the studio likes to have, they don't purchase the equipment to be that good to produce sound of that quality. Below the sound of the wind and sobbing, very
Yeah,
faint,
you know, it's like back to
something sounded like laughter. It came at odd intervals and never lasted more than a second, so you had a hard time pinning it. We watched this show twice, so pardon me if things get too specific, but I've had time to think about them. After 30 seconds of this, the screen blurred and twitched violently, and something flashed over the screen, as if a single frame was replaced. The lead animation editor
It
paused
was.
and rewound frame by frame.
It is so
What we saw
hard
was
to actually
horrible.
see what it is.
It was a still photo of a dead child.
No.
He couldn't have been
Yep.
more than 6. The face was mangled and
child.
bloodied. One eye
It's getting
hanging
ripped
over
out.
his upturned face
Yeah.
popped. He was naked down to his underwear, his stomach crudely cut open, and his entrails laying beside him.
Yep.
He was laying on some pavement that was
It
probably a
sounds so- I
road.
don't remember.
The most upsetting part was that
I
there
thought it was
was
a ball,
the
though.
shadow of the photographer.
It was like 3 frames.
There was no crime tape, no evidence tags or markers, and the angle was completely off for a shot designed to be evidence. It would seem the photographer was the person responsible for the child's death. We were of course mortified, but pressed on, hoping that it was just a sick joke. The screen flipped back to Squidward, still sobbing, louder than before, and half body in frame.
Whoa.
There was now what appeared to be blood running down his face from his eyes. The blood was also done in a realistic style, looking as if you touched it, you'd get blood on your fingers. The wind sounded now as if it were that of a gale blowing through the forest. There were even snapping sounds of branches. The laughing, a deep baritone lasting at longer intervals and coming much more frequently. After about 20 seconds, the screen again twisted and showed a single frame photo. The editor was reluctant to go back. We all were. But he knew what he had to do. This time the photo was that of what appeared to be a little girl, no older than the first child.
There it is.
She was laying on her stomach, her barrettes in a pool of blood next to her. Her left eye was also popped out and popped, naked except for underpants. Her entrails were piled on top of her above another crude cut along her back. Again, the body was on the street, and the photographer's shadow was visible, very similar in size and shape to the first. I had to choke back vomit, and one intern, the only female in the room, ran out. The show resumed. About 5 seconds after the second photo played, Squidward went silent, as did all sound, like it was when the scene started. He put his tentacles down, and his eyes were now done in a realistic style like the others were in the beginning of the episode.
Whoa!
They were bleeding,
Ooh,
bloodshot, and pulsating. He just
I
stared
did
at the
not remember
screen
that.
as if watching the viewer. After about 10
It's all breaking
seconds, he
right there.
started sobbing, this time not covering his eyes. The sound was piercing and loud, and most fear-inducing of all is his sobbing was mixed with screams. Tears and blood were dripping down his face at a heavy rate. The wind sound came back, and so did the deep-voiced laughter. And this time, the still photo lasted longer, for a good 5 frames. The animator was able to stop it on the 4th and backed up. This time the photo was of a boy, about the same age, but this time the scene was different. The entrails were just being pulled out from a stomach wound by a large hand. The right eye popped and dangling, blood trickling down from it. The animator proceeded. It was hard to believe, but the next one was different, but we couldn't tell what. He went on to the next, same thing. He went back to the first and played them quicker, and I lost it. I vomited on the floor. The animating and sound editors gasped at the screen. The 5 frames were not as if they were 5 different photos. They were played out as if they were frames from a video. We saw the hand slowly lift out the guts.
From a video.
We saw the kid's eye focus on it. We even saw 2 frames of the kid beginning to blink. The lead sound editor told us to stop. He had to call in the creator to see this.
I just don't listen to
Mr. Hillenberg arrived within about 15 minutes.
No.
He was confused as to why he was called down there, so the editor just continued the episode. Once the few frames were shown, all screaming, all sound again stopped. Squidward was just staring at the viewer, full frame of the face for about 3 seconds. The shot quickly panned out and that deep voice said, "Do it." And we see in Squidward's hands a shotgun. He immediately puts the gun in his mouth and pulls the trigger. Realistic blood and brain matter splatters the wall behind him in his bed, and he flies back with the force. The last 5 seconds of this episode shows his body on the bed
That
on
was
its
lame.
side, one eye dangling on what's left of his head above the floor, staring blankly at it.
Terrible animation.
Then the episode ends. Mr. Hillenberg is obviously angry at this. He demanded to know what the heck was going on. Most people left the room at this point, so it was just a handful of us there to watch it again. Viewing the episode twice only served to imprint the entirety of it in my mind and cause me horrible nightmares. I'm sorry I stayed. The only theory we could think of was the file was edited by someone in the chain from the drawing studio to here. The CTO was called in to analyze when it happened. The analysis of the file showed that it was edited over by new material. However, the timestamp of it was a mere
Obviously.
24 seconds before we began viewing it. All equipment involved was examined for foreign software and hardware, as well as glitches, as if the timestamp may have glitched and showed the wrong time. But everything checked out fine. We don't know what happened, and to this day, nobody does. There was an investigation due to the nature of the photos, but nothing came of it.
Oh no.
No child scene was identified, no clues gathered from the data
really?
involved, nor physical
So if I go
clues
to
in the
Google this
photos.
right now, there's nothing?
I never believed in unexplainable phenomena before, but now that I have something happen and can't prove anything about it beyond anecdotal evidence, I think twice about things.
I would too. Dude, you always gotta like think twice about stuff. For real.
No.
Whoa! That's creepy, Patreon. Oh god, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Pretty good outro set though, I must admit.
Except it's no music.
Still a good outro set though.
Anyways, you guys.
Dude, that was better than the ones I've heard.
That was Squidward's suicide, and yeah, next week I think is SpongeBob's suicide.
Yeah. So,
So,
prepare
yeah,
for
that
next
should
week's
be-
episode. Next week's episode will be SpongeBob suicide. Now,
That should be interesting.
that's funny. It's funny because that one's actually featured on the thumbnail as well.
And we are starting a new series, actually, which is a reaction series. We've reacted to Don't Hug Me, I Am Scared 5, where we, I still have to edit it. What?
This animation just came up on. Oh god, that's too funny.
What?
Oh my god. I'm gonna share screens. Look at that. God, if I could just show that in the video, I would. I don't know how, dang it. Oh my god, that is
Just
hilarious.
Just save the picture, send it to me on Skype, and I can edit it in.
Alright. God.
But, yeah, we started up a reaction series. So every Tuesdays, we will have a reaction video out for you guys, where you guys can go see our reactions to different things.
And if you have
we-
any request, just let us know on like any video. It doesn't matter what video you comment on, just let us know. We need stuff.
I mean, like, we have all of our last episodes planned out until probably middle of next year, probably.
But still, we can always take some recommendations.
Exactly. Then also, with our reactions, next week's reaction, after we upload this week's reaction, which is Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared 5, will be, what were we gonna react to again? We were discussing it last night.
Shoot. Shoot! Can't remember! I didn't write it down either!
I know it was a music video.
Do you guys know what it was? We don't remember.
Like, we watched it before, me and you have.
Oh my god! Little Life Princess!
That's it.
Warp out! Little Life Princess! Oh my god.
So yeah, we'll be reacting to that next week.
The animation
stay tuned for
is
that.
amazing. It was totally worth waiting for like 3 years. It was just so worth it.
But anyways, you guys, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smack that like button down below because it really supports our channel and lets us know you love what we do. And make sure you also click that subscribe button because you can stay up to date with anything and everything that we upload. And yeah,
SkyPig channel is growing. Thank you guys so much for 41 subs. And
we will see you
we'll be
guys.
celebrating 50. Can't wait.
We will see you guys. Oh, wait, one more thing before I do our outro. We may have a collaboration coming up here very, very, very soon. With
Mr.
another
Hashtag
YouTuber.
Swaggy Ray.
Link will be in the description of that video whenever it comes out and whenever it's done and I have all footage edited. We haven't even done anything right now at the time of recording this. I'm going to try and get in contact with him and see when we can do things. Alright, you guys. But anyways, thank you all for watching. And until next time, we will see you all in the next one.
Laters.
Peace.